Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Reb. If you're new here, and there are quite a few new people here, thank you for subscribing and visiting this little corner of the internet. I am an artist based in Texas. I live in nearby Houston. I live on a little rural property just outside of Houston with my partner, my son, our dog Charlie, and 6 chickens. Um, I mentioned I'm an artist, mostly working in painting and drawing and lino cut. I also dabble in other things because I have ADHD and I collect hobbies among other things, as you can probably tell. But mostly drawing, painting, and lino cut. I will pop in a little bit of my work so that you can see kind of the stuff that I do, but a lot of my work is nature themed, um, kind of observational, drawing from references, and just doodling my everyday life. I have a daily journal that I draw in every day that is filled with mostly drawings that I make from memory or from observation. And then I have, a sketchbook practice and just, a lot of work on paper and things like that. So, a lot of stuff to look at. Um, I'm happy to say that when I started this channel, I was just getting back into drawing, but now it's pretty much like a huge part of my life. And I have YouTube to kind of thank for that. So, again, thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing. And let's celebrate a year of content making and drawings and getting back into art by doing a little studio tour. I figured since this channel started with a studio tour, I would bring you guys along and just show you everything that's new, all the upgrades that I've made, and all of the art supplies that I have collected. My drawers are a lot fuller now than they used to be, and I'm really happy about that. So, yeah, let's go take a look inside. All right, so let's start with this desk area. So this is my desk. Looks a lot different than it did in my previous video. I've got a lot more stuff on here now. I've got all of my inks over here on this little rolling thing, along with some glues and things like that. Got my pencil sharpener here. This is where I keep all of my oil pastels and some like soft pastels that I don't use very often. These are all of my current sketchbooks, my sketchbook, my daily journal, and my art challenge little sketchbook here. This is where I keep all of my Blackwing pencils, sharpener. This is a box of stickers and patches and things like that I've gotten from friends. My little leggy houseplant. And then we've got all the stuff that I use pretty much on a daily basis. I've got my Neo colors in here. These are some Sennelier oil pastels that I haven't used yet, but they fit perfectly in that little tin, so I've got them right there. Prismacolor watercolor pencils that I just kind of keep there, along with some paintbrushes, my water, some little, these are just like little plates, but I use them when I make paintings just for like a little quick palette. And then we've got all of my like drawing utensils. So these are the Karst woodless pencils. I use those a lot for when I'm just kind of like wanting to quickly draw in my sketchbook. I just feel like they cover a lot more area than like Prismacolors, but the color selection is a little bit more limited. These are all of my Inktense pencils. I've been using those a lot. Neocolor, these are Neocolor ones. My Neo Color 2s are over there in that tin. And then these are just like all of the like stuff that I use pretty much every day. Black wing pencil, a Pitt pen that I've been using in my daily journal, that kind of thing. And yeah, I like having everything here. I don't usually like grab from here. I usually pull out whatever I'm using and just like place it, you know, on this little pad here. These are my art dies. These are some like pads of paper that I use pretty much on a daily basis. Watercolor paper and things like that. My paper palette. These drawers up here have like all the stuff that I use pretty much all the time. This is all of my like scissors and X-Acto blades, things like that. This drawer is very squeaky. I've been trying to figure out how to fix that. This is all of my washi tape, artist tape, that kind of thing. And then this one here has all of my stamps and postage and things like that. So my drawers are definitely a bit of a mess right now, but I'll just kind of show you inside a little bit. This is where I keep mostly like electronics and things like that, some notepads for like quick writing down of stuff. And then these drawers have pretty much stayed the same, the only exception being that they're certainly more full than they used to be. But this is where I keep all of my like dry, like writing and drawing materials, Prismacolors, an assortment of pens and pencils and things like that. Erasers, graphitint stuff, pencil lids and things like that underneath there. And then second drawer, this is where I keep most of my like watercolor type materials. I just got this relatively recently. It's Shinhan watercolors. My Old Faithful, my like trusty Winsor Newton watercolor palette. My dot cards that I got recently. These are my my graphitint pan set. This drawer is pretty full, so. Down here, just files, so I won't be showing you that. And then over here on this side, this is where I keep my like, not necessarily yet lesser used, but stuff that I don't reach for as often, like Posca markers, alcohol markers, and then a bunch of like artwork and stuff like that down in those files. I don't know if I mentioned my like snazzy little arm that I bought that has been helping me do all of the filming. This thing is honestly has been really like a game changer, extremely helpful. It just keeps the camera like out of my way and gets a much better view than I could with any tripod or anything like that. So a very, very worthy investment. This is where I keep printer paper, some cardstock. My printer's up there. Little project bins. There's not really a whole lot in those right now, actually. And then that is a Sculpey oven. In the back, I've got all kinds of like drawings from friends. These are from Melissa. She did those for an art swap. Photo of my baby, my partner and I, my dog. just like a random assortment of stuff that I've gotten from art friends. My little paper plant that I made. Mainly because I can't keep real plants alive. And of course, a random like baby toy. So yeah, that's pretty much my desk. I think that pretty much covers everything. This area here is my little reading nook. Basically, this is where I store all of my art books. I've got my little comfy chair here. Usually there's more kids' toys, but I've rounded them up in those little bins underneath there. I'll show you my books. A lot of art books. This is my jar of feathers. And a very, very large Vincent van Gogh book that does not fit on the shelf, so that's why it's all the way up there. That book is amazing, though. And my poor little houseplant that is just trying to survive. And then this is my easel. I've got a couple paintings that I've started on it, but it's just background. This bottom area down here is where my son paints when I'm painting. I will definitely say that I have drip paint on his head, but that's all right. This is my little shelving unit. This is where I store sketchbooks. These are sketchbooks that are filled or mostly filled. A couple notebooks as well that I've written in. This is just some like random supplies. This has like all of my fountain pen stuff. I use a fountain pen a lot, but I don't have to like refill it or mess with it that often. I keep the ink on the desk, but like extra cartridges and things like that are in here. This one is empty. Haven't found something to put in that just yet. I've got a little section down here that's all of my son's like art supplies. He likes to color and draw with me when I'm in here, so he's got his own little section of stuff that he can grab. All of it's washable, in case you're wondering. This is my empty sketchbooks and journals. These are lined, these are unlined. As you can tell, I've got quite a few, but you know, I'm always collecting sketchbooks because I'm an artist, damn it. Just some random decorative things. I made this out of air dry clay. I think it's pretty cool. And then pictures and stuff. This is all my paper, like watercolor paper, craft paper, construction paper, things like that. This is where I keep my prints and my zines, or at least the like masters of the zines. Finished artwork is in this little box here. And I don't know if you guys can see all the way down. Let me shift the camera a little bit. So down here, this is where I keep all of my stickers. This was like another estate sale find. This has been great because it's like just little drawers, and I need to label them, but I started like making tiny little versions of my stickers to make as or to use as labels. This is where I keep all of my zines. Down here is mat boards, frames, things like that. And yeah, that's pretty much the entire shelving unit. So this is basically my like packing corner. If you don't know, I have a shop and I sell stickers and prints and things. This has got like chipboard. This has got the plastic protective sleeves. All of my stationery is down in this little one here. Envelopes, and then just some like random other stuff down at the very bottom. And then all of this here is just like cardboard, bigger frames, and things like that. So, oh, and then these two, this is like artwork to give away. Sometimes I like to include little original art that I've made like in my mailings. And then I also have like artwork from other people things that I want to keep. Obviously, this stack is much larger. Um, but yeah, it's just like original art and stuff that I haven't photographed yet and needs to be like photographed. And then this little thing here is just a basket full of all of my, I guess, like art bags. Like if I'm on the go somewhere, I'll put in the stuff that I want. Um, you know, like pencil pouches and things like that. So I keep those there. I tend to kind of customize what I'm taking with me every time I go out somewhere. I don't have like a everything that I use in one bag type situation because I have a toddler and there's no time for drawing most of the time. Not a whole lot of improvement made in this area, to be honest. This is basically like a lot of stuff that doesn't really have a place anywhere else and that I don't use as often, but that is still something that I like need on a regular basis. So, yeah, a little bit of a mess here, but if we're being realistic, like this is the state of my studio and that's how it is. And then there's this. I recently got this table off of Marketplace. Basically, it is a like workbench, like a tool workbench. Here's the brand Husky. But it is so much more stable than what I had before. So it's super helpful to use this table for like printmaking and everything because it doesn't shake around as much when I like spray out my paint or, I'm like burnishing or anything like that. And I've got my little like lamp here, like I had before. It is connected in a pretty weird way to the wall, but that's just because I haven't actually fastened it yet. But that's okay. This is where I do most of my like messier work, painting, printmaking, things like that. Just stuff that tends to like dirty up the desk. I've got some of my collections here. I think I mentioned in my 100-day project that I wanted to kind of redo all of my stuff, and I finally did that. So I've got like bottles, I've got like natural like items in this one. This is a little thing that I picked up in a estate sale. It's filled with cool bottles. Let me show you really quick. Now, trust me, I know that these are gross old spices that need to be thrown away, and that is in the works, but I thought that this would be like so cool to like fill with inks that I make. And so yeah, that's gonna be a little project for like the fall or something like that. But yeah, how cool is it? It's got two little drawers down at the bottom. Moved around my bugs a little bit. Got a cool little bird painting that I picked up in an estate sale. Just like random stuff. This area needs a little bit of work as far as organization goes, but really and truly, it's worked pretty well for me. I've got one cart for painting supplies and another cart here for all of my printmaking. And then I'm pretty sure that I mentioned already that I redid all of my like collections. So I've got like shells, more shells, and oceany type stuff. I've got my like egg collection over here. And then scoot you guys over and disregard my very dusty shelves, but these are all like rocks and things like that. And then these are like bigger rocks. I could probably do a whole video on just my rock collection, like a big ass nerd, but I won't subject you guys to that unless you really want. Just let me know in the comments. I will be happy to take you through my collection of rocks. And last but not least is this big honkin' friend. This is a scrap box or something like that. I'll put it here. That my mother-in-law gave me. She had it in her like she shed and wasn't using it and saw that I have a million craft supplies. So she gifted it to me. and this thing is insane. Let's open it up so that you can take a look inside. This is my countdown to the next election calendar. I love this thing and also hate it because we are here. So, anyways, moving on. So basically, this thing is this like, I don't know how to describe it, like magical cabinet. It's a magical cabinet, basically. It's on wheels, by the way. So yeah, the whole thing opens up. Get back, you beast. And yeah, it's a basically, excuse me, it's basically a huge cabinet of crafting supplies. So in here, I have all of my like cardstock type paper, sticker paper, things like that. All of my beads are over here. In case you're wondering, I'll just like pull one of these out. They're like trays, and they've got dividers. So there you go. Random supplies. This thing's not completely like organized yet, but for the most part you can kind of see where everything's at. I've got a Cricut here. This part right here opens into a little desk. There's legs. I can't get to the legs while I'm holding this mic, but you get the idea. Underneath there is a sewing machine that I do not know how to use, but hopefully will eventually learn how to use it, because I have so much scrap fabric and stuff to print on that I need to learn how to do something with it. So that's all in there. I've got Sculpey clay. I've got all my vinyls, things like that, and just other random art supplies kind of throughout. So a lot more space to put things. Haven't decided what I will be putting in here, but looking forward to filling this thing even more. This thing is pretty big, bigger than I thought it was going to be for sure, but it's got a lot of storage, so I'm not terribly mad at it. Up on the top, I do have some random storage. I've got a couple, like, I guess they're pochade boxes. I haven't really used them that much, mainly because they're pretty bulky, and again, I have a toddler, so like, when do I have time to go and make art somewhere? Some cyanotype kits, random like paper, big pieces of paper, and yeah, a lot of fun stuff. So that's this thing, and that's pretty much everything in my studio now. So let's close everything up and go back to the desk. All right, so that's the end of the tour. I hope that you guys have enjoyed seeing my little workspace. It's an ever-evolving studio, but I'm really happy with how it's changed to fit my needs. I wasn't sure when I started this channel, like, if I was even going to keep up with the drawing, and I'm really proud that I've like made so much work and really like made it a part of my life. I'm also super surprised that I was brave enough to show it online. I'm pretty shy, so that was a pretty big step for me. And I think the most surprising thing was how warmly me and my art was received. This community has been so lovely. You guys have left so many like beautiful comments and kind words, and I was just really thankful that I've made so many art friends here. So thank you so much for being here. I truly, truly appreciate it. So, as a little thank you, I want to do a little giveaway. Go over to my Ko-fi site. I'll put the info here. And just take a look around, see what you like. Maybe give me a follow while you're there. And here on the comments in this video, leave a little comment of which piece you would like. Obviously, some of the work there is original work, so it's one of a kind. So anything that you choose, subject to availability. But just know that there's original work, there's prints, stickers. I even do commissions, and that's up for grabs. So tell me what you'd like in the comments below. I will pick a person at random. There's an app for that. And I'll connect with you. I'll leave it open for about a week so that everybody gets a chance. And with that, I think that's pretty much the end of the video. Again, thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you for celebrating this year of being on YouTube. And I will catch you guys on the next video. Bye.